All right, welcome back to part five, the epic conclusion for the most important Google Ads metrics for 2023. So, in parts one through four, we went through all the different column categories and basically dissected them all. Now, we didn't go through all the definitions of absolutely every single one. I do assume some sort of baseline of knowledge and information, and the info is already out there. So, if you need to go find those, go ahead, but we did go through a vast majority of the definitions, and we did go through all the metrics to see how they would apply and which ones you can use for 2023. So here is your consolidated list and report of columns to use for 2023 upcoming to pay attention to from Google Ads. All right, bang. My name is David Feldman-Makrias. Let's go. So it's exciting stuff. Nerding out over here. So basically, I organized this document. You could see it in the link below, and any section highlighted in green are the columns to explore. So I'm going to go through, and this part one, part two, so on and so forth indicates the number, or which video that each explanation was fully recorded, and a little more of a dissection. But I wanted to give a brief recap and overview about the certain metrics to explore and kind of just wrap us up in a conclusion. So the business models I'm looking to serve the most are e-commerce and lead generation. And a lot of these metrics we're going to go through and conclude really do apply to more than those, like, app downloads and video views and whatever your goals are. But mine right now are lead generation and e-commerce. So let's get into it. Part one, recommended. We already had all the recommended columns. Performance columns to explore: engagement, invalid metrics, and impressions, absolute top percent, and top percent. So engagements, basically, basically if someone actually interacts with the ad, the video ad, more for display networks and things like that. So those are important. However, I like the invalid metrics. The invalid metrics basically is Google's detection of illegitimate clicks, impressions, interaction rates, things like that. I'm just curious. This is more of a curiosity metric. How much fraudulent clicks and fraudulent activity of our campaigns generating is Google picking up? So that's where all the invalid metrics come into play. Also, absolute top percent and top percent for impressions. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm talking about the right thing here. So again, the reason why this is important, because being a traditional Google Ads, I guess, operator, impressions doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? I mean, it just showed up on the page. It loaded on the page that someone's on, but that doesn't necessarily mean they saw it. It just loaded. So with this, we can actually see your top percentage and your number one ranking percentage. So that's damn good stuff right there. Part two, setup, ad strength details. So that really just talks about the strength of your ad. And with responsive search ads, this might be just a cool column to see if all your responsive search ads are filled out. That's more of a kind of a check off column to see how you can improve, but something to explore. Okay, viewability. Columns to explore: impressions, measurable impressions, and viewable impressions. So a lot of this was based on display in video, but here's the example broken out. Impressions, let's say you had 10,000. Measurable impressions would maybe 8,000, and viewable impressions is 6,000. A measurable impression is to say whether Google or not can determine whether you viewed it or didn't view it. So viewable impressions plus non-viewable impressions equals measurable impressions. And they're all impressions. See, like, there's all these different ways to categorize impressions, and that's why, like, your classic impression doesn't really mean a lot, because there's so many different spots and so many different definitions of it. So that's why I thought the impression metrics were very, very important, at least to explore. All right, conversions. This is where the meat is. Why? Because conversions are the thing that matter the most. revenue, generating leads, phone calls, add to carts. That's all the bottom funnel stuff. Why we do all this stuff. That's where we have to start, and then we follow it up from there. So, columns to explore. And don't pay a lot of attention to my underlining and italicizing, but here's columns to explore. But first, the following metrics are interesting because they may help define what a conversion is without a value by comparing said conversion to the value. Okay, what does that mean? Well, things that don't necessarily have an inherent value, such as add to cart. How much is that worth in dollars and cents to your business? Things like beginning the checkout phase. How much is that worth in dollars and cents to your business? Those metrics are, usually back of the napkin calculated or very, very time consuming, sophisticated formulas to figure out what they actually mean. And for Google to put some of these metrics in here is very, very interesting. I don't know how accurate it's going to be, but I like it. So value over conversion, that's how much a conversion is worth. Value adjustment, comparing what a specific conversion add to cart is worth. That's the real interesting one that I'm curious to explore. There's also these other ones, new customer lifetime value, conversion metrics by time. Well, hang on, about conversions metrics by time. COGS, gross profit. I mean, that's things I think you have to upload information to, but it is very interesting. And I do want to explore them all. And then new customer life. No, we talked about that. Conversion metrics by time. This might be one of the favorites here because we pay a lot of attention to conversions in the Google Ads space, but when we analyze it by time, it actually breaks it down a little bit differently than your classic conversions. Classic conversions are if you have, a date range of last 30 days, a conversion that's recorded is when it's recorded when the ad was clicked on. If we're looking at conversion metrics by time, that is recording the conversion when the conversion actually happened. So let's say day 7 out of day 30, the ad was clicked, but day 10 out of day 30, the conversion happened. So your day 7 will show the actual conversion rather than day 10. That could mean a lot when you're talking about high-level e-commerce, big-time setup funnels. That little difference can mean a lot. So I like the conversion metrics by time because the ad does matter, but the conversion matters more. And I want to see how many conversions actually happened within a set time frame. There's also some other variable metrics, cross-sell, cross-device, view-through conversions, new customers. All these are really, really interesting as far as what kind of insight can we gain from them. And the idea here, guys, these columns to explore, the idea is we use these in an exploratory fashion, which I'll get to in a second. It's not something that's going to be set in stone that all of them are going to mean, oh my God, we got to pay attention to this. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. So those are columns to explore for conversions. This is where this conversion section, that's where the meat and potatoes are. That's where the chunk of great information is. Then we get into part 3, attribution, conversions and conversion value current model. So again, I just want to explore how the current model would be different. I don't think it's going to mean a whole lot because I've used my attribution model for quite some time. I don't change it often. So I would hope my conversions and conversion value are already synced up over time. Attributes. So I just like knowing some of these items in the actual campaign window. That would be nice. Conversion goals, target ROAS, target CPA. So nothing like too crazy there. I just don't want to click the extra 2 buttons. I want to see what they're at. All right, competitive. Again, columns to explore, click share. Click share. I'm going to bold some of my favorites. We're going to bold some of the favorites here. Click share, because I analyze a lot on impression share, but I also want to see how many potential clicks there are in the market too. Like, why not? An impression is great, but how about a click? Okay. Google Analytics didn't really have many. Call details, columns to explore phone impressions, especially for lead generation, because this would tell us how many phone calls could we have had potentially based on how many times our either phone, I shouldn't even say phone extension, it's phone asset now, our phone asset or our call ad showed up. And I believe that is all the columns to explore. So I'll write down David's favorites. My favorites are mostly in the conversion section. Value adjustment, la, 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 conversion metrics by time, click share. What other ones? Any other ones? Those are my favorites. And my favorites usually start with two things, right? It's actual tracking conversions and tracking competition. That's why these are my favorites, because they have to do with um, revenue and conversion tracking, or a more helpful view on revenue and conversion tracking, or the competition. Bang, bang, bang. All right. That is it. Thank you guys for watching my series on this. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, confessions, deepest, darkest secrets, please keep them to yourself, but you can also comment on this video if you have anything to add. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I want to hear your feedback too. Let me know what you think. But these are my favorites for 2023. Value adjustment, conversion metrics by time, and click share. All right, guys. See you in the next set of videos. Have fun. Subscribe if you like this video, and talk to you soon.